Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Oh, we've got a groaner for you this morning. Why do people hate elevator music? The answer? At first, it's uplifting, but in the end, it always brings you down. Oh, good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America, followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Call in, call in, call in. Good morning. And a good morning to you. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, and of course brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with a great big get ready for a road trip with the best of tires for you. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers, including Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, without any further ado, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Excuse me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, Lorna, I certainly don't want you to get all choked up talking to me.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. God bless you and have a wonderful day, okay?
Thank you, and you too.
All right. Thank you very much. Wheels, you might want to check all the settings and everything. Some of the stuff coming down the line to me is a little hot, so you might check that and make sure everything's set the way it should be. And right now, we're going to take a look at our weather forecast. The weather brought to you by Roger and the crew at 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn, K&R Rental. Oh, boy, I tell you what. I wonder if they rent boats. Last night with all that rain, holy mackerel, did it come down hard here for a while. Well, they've got all the rototillers, they've got all the weed mowers and the weed whackers and the lawn mowers, and they've got all the post hole diggers. You can get a PhD without going to college. And they've got all kinds of special washers for washing down the buildings. Oh, they've got it all. At K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn, number to call 678-3122. And now, here's the weather.
Here's your weather forecast as we make our way through the day, and we are expecting some more storms in our forecast. Scattered rain showers and isolated thunderstorms off and on in the morning and this afternoon. Some thunderstorms may produce some damaging wind, large hail, and heavy rainfall. We are expecting a high right near 68, and the winds are going to be out of the east right around 10 miles an hour. Tonight, those rain showers and scattered thunderstorms could continue. Slight chance of rain showers after midnight as well. Plus, it's going to be colder. We are looking at a low possibly of 41. Tomorrow, as we head into the weekend, mostly sunny skies, slight chance of rain showers in the morning, windy, and the high is going to be close to 68. Winds out of the southwest 10 to 20 miles an hour. Friday night, clear skies with a low expected of 40 for Saturday. Sunny skies, high of 78, and Possible 85 for Sunday. And that's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Range.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, Gina. Great job. And don't forget the weather brought to you right off the go from here in the program. I bit my tongue and it's injured my lip. I'll tell you what. K&R Rental, 256 South 600 west of Hayburn. They bring you the weather and the number to call for more information. Roger and the crew, they get there early in the morning at 7 a.m. 678-3122. You give them a call today. Merv May, come on in here. Let's sell some cattle.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there, here to get all their 30.
That's the chant of, I think, the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, over at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. The number to call for cattle consignments and sale information, 678-9411. Merv May, Cade Rogge, Lance Udy, the sale that works for you. And sale time this morning, 10:30, and they're going to have some ripping good cattle coming in from Nate Eames over to Rupert, bringing in 84 head at 6 to 850 pounders, and then Ernesto Madrigal over in Paul. Hello, Ernesto. How are you? 20 head of Holstein steers weighing about 800 pounds. Butcher cows coming in from Funk Dairy, TLK Dairy, Acme Dairy, Antelope Hills Dairy. As I said, starting time at about 10:30 at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Sale today at 10:30. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there, here to get all their 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, 1.5, selling $1.35. Zeb Bell, get the bottom again.
I'll take that bottom price. Wheels, did the lovely Gina get in the studio with you?
She did, sir.
Is she there by the microphone?
Yes, she is.
Good morning, Gina.
Good morning, sunshine.
I understand a little bitty birdie told me that you are having a birthday on Saturday.
I am. I'm going to be ancient. Well, okay,
So-
not as ancient.
On behalf of Deanne and I, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear ancient one, Gina. Happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you very much, young man.
Listen, you can tell the public a lot of things, but don't lie to the public. Young man does not fit.
Well, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to you and Deanne for remembering me that I will be getting older on Saturday.
By the way, are you going to be working tomorrow, or did they give you an extended weekend because of your antique age?
No, I will be working tomorrow. However, I will have the weekend off.
Well, you might want to watch the door tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. All right.
Now you're wondering.
I am wondering.
Okay. You can wonder, but don't worry. It's nothing bad.
Okay.
Well, it could turn out to be.
You know, I love you both so much. Thank you for putting a smile on my face.
All right. Hey, listen, let old Wheels have back at her, and thank you, Gina.
Oh, you guys have a blessed day.
All right. Thank you much.
Bye-bye.
Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric. Oh, my goodness. They get there early in the morning, too, 7:30 at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 678-0459. And, of course, they've got all. This isn't brag. This is a fact. They've got all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. Did you hear that forecast? Temperature for Sunday into the mid to higher 80s. Yeah, buddy, I love it. I love to sweat. Well, I'll tell you what, they can help your air conditioners work efficiently with the clean air filters. They've got them all at Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. You stop in and see them today. One more good word. Oh, by the way, Gina's birthday is Saturday. And then there is another gentleman's birthday on Saturday, and that's Keith Cottom. And I know Keith is listening this morning. Nancy just made him steak and eggs with all the sliced up potatoes, and he had his grapefruit and everything. But his birthday's on Saturday, June 2nd also, so happy birthday to Keith. And Denny's Restaurant, oh, that's what you need to do, Nancy, is take him over to Denny's Restaurant at 611 North Overland in Burley. Oh, my goodness, what a menu. What menu choices. Delicious food and great people serving you at Denny's Restaurant, known as America's Diner. And it's true. They're located at 611 North Overland in Burley, and another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. You stop in. It's the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch, and that's Denny's Restaurant in Burley. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Today, the end of May. I don't know about y'all out there in Radio Land, but where in the world did spring go? And it just seems like yesterday we were getting ready to go to like the Lincoln Day banquet in February and then getting ready for Easter. Woo! May 31st today. And I don't know, maybe do the days seem, when you get a little long in the tooth and gray on the hair, that the days seem to go by so much faster? Holy cow. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to talk about racism and how bad it is now, even on television newscasts. We're going to talk about that, but it's not the racism you think it is. It's the racism against whites. Don't forget our friends at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Hello, Nick Greenwell. Hello, the rest of the staff. Excellent. Underline that word, excellent. Physical therapists serving you to get you back on top of things. You better believe it gets you back to being you. Whether you've had an accident or a surgery or aches and pains, whatever, they know all the exercises, and they have that hydrotherapy pool. Oh, I've walked 1,000,000 miles in that. Help me a bunch. They can help you, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. You call them and feel better after they get done helping you, okay? Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I have heard about this guy by the name of Tim Wise. Well, I was listening to TV last night, and it solidified a lot of the information I'd heard about this guy. He is supposedly an anti-racist, but he's a racist. And here's why. On MSNBC, they had a what's called anti-racist roundtable discussion. And it was probably one of the most racist things I've ever heard against you and I that are whites. This Tim Wise absolutely was downplaying and denigrating the whites in our society. And he said these racists, the whites, are absolutely holding down everybody else from being successful. Now, I don't recall ever in my life that I have done or said anything to another race, regardless of their skin color, as to trying to downplay them or hold them down or not let them achieve something or succeed. As a matter of fact, I've maintained the status on this program, and I've been doing this program for over 18 years, that if you'll get off your dead pockets and get to work, you can achieve anything and everything regardless of the idiocy of throwing color or race into the fray. But he said that the only one, and the only reason that someone of color can't succeed is because the whites don't want them to. And this guy absolutely was as racist as it comes. And then into the fray, I mentioned yesterday Louis Farrakhan, the leader of the absolutely disgusting Nation of Islam, and he called for an end to white men, saying that their nature is not in harmony with the nature of God. Oh, really? Now, if you were to stand up, think about this today. If you are an implement dealer, or you own a tire shop, or you own a beauty parlor, or you do anything, and you sat there and you might tell your customers, or maybe you were speaking in front of a group, or you were a minister, and you said, can you imagine if a Christian pastor said this about other races? Like possibly, well, there needs to be an end of black men because their nature is not in harmony with the nature of God. Or there needs to be an elimination of brown men, brown-skinned men, whatever. But no, this is the reverse happening to the white people in our society, and nobody says a word about it. And college campuses from coast to coast are getting involved in this hate whitey movement, and classes are being offered on the so-called white privilege to planning on white people free days. In other words, white people not allowed on campus. And now 2 universities are being investigated for allegedly discriminating against white men. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Deb. And thank you for wishing me a happy birthday.
You're welcome. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Did you know Idaho ranks number 2 in the least amount of black people in the state?
So?
Second to Wyoming.
So?
And so around here we don't make a big deal of it because there's very few of the black people.
Well, why should there? Why should there? Wait a minute, Keith. Why should there be a big deal about it? I mean, live and let live. Everybody get up and do their own thing. Everybody go to work. Everybody try to get a job. Everybody get an education. Try to better themselves. I don't care what the numbers are. I couldn't care if we're number 2, number 14, number 27, whatever. It doesn't make any difference to me. Live and let live, but I'm not going to allow anybody from any race to reverse the racism on you and me.
That's true. And the one thing I've noticed about the black people is that they like to be with other black people. But it's according to their class. If they're nice people wanting to get ahead in the world, they don't care. They'll live right in your neighborhood or anywhere else and be perfectly happy. But when they get together, that's when the problems start.
No, I disagree with that statement. And I'll tell you what, and Keith, you're a dear friend of mine. I disagree with that statement because the same could be said of whites, the same could be said of Mexicans, the same could be said of anybody in your comfort zone. So I really can't agree with you on that statement.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I have toured a lot of this country. I've spent time in California and places like that, just like you have. Only I've, in auto dealerships and that sort of thing, there is very few black people.
I agree with that.
But one thing that's happened here a few years ago, that if you were black, you were given a privilege that someone else didn't have.
Well, here's the thing, Keith. Bear with me on this just a minute. Anything and everything that either you or I say on this subject can be taken out of context and it can be construed as racism. The point I'm getting at here this morning is that when you have a white like Tim Wise, who I don't think is very wise and doesn't live up to his name, that he's trying to be a token liberal white, playing to the music of being anti-racist for the blacks. Does that make sense to you? And he's stirring the pot of racism in this country, like Louis Farrakhan and many others, Al Sharpton, and all they're doing is creating more divisiveness. Would you agree with that?
I would have to agree with that because you are my friend, but it's also the truth.
Well, I appreciate that because I see a trend, and I think you'd have to be wearing blinders if you can't see and understand this, that over the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm blaming the Obama administration for a lot of this, there is more divisiveness, there is more hate, there is more separating of the races, and there is more animosity today than I think there has been in the last 20 years.
Absolutely, and it's because of Louis Farrakhan and that other guy that lost weight, looks like a skeleton now. What's his name?
Are you talking about Al Sharpton? Yeah.
Yeah, people like that, they keep stirring the pot. I would think if they would just shut up and go away.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more, but that's how they make their money, unfortunately. The love of money has created more tension, and it's going to cause more problems in our society. And quite frankly, I think racism in America is going to take a turn at the corner and come back onto the whites. And we'd better stop this movement right now. Keith, I got to pay some bills. Thank you for calling in.
You bet. You have a wonderful day.
And you have a happy birthday.
Hey, and say hello to Deanne.
I will, buddy.
Darn, I hope she's doing good.
Well, thank you, and I'll pass that along to her. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, take care. I want to talk a little bit about Pomerelle Place at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley, and mark June 6th on your calendar from 3 to 5 p.m. At Pomerelle Place. They're going to have a Meet the New Administrator. Oh, I'm telling you, they're going to have all kinds of good things going on over there. And then a Father's Day celebration on June 16th. You don't want to miss any of this. I'm telling you that Pomerelle Place, a place for senior living, offers the ability for seniors to maintain their independence both safely and comfortably, and the number to call, 677-8212. Pomerelle Place, a place for senior living at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley. That number again, 677-8212. Oh, and by the by, as they say, I'd like to remind you about our dear friends at Dino's Septic Service. You know, we never really consider that when we don't have any problems. You know, you just kind of stick your nose up in the air and just go on with life, but then all of a sudden, woo! What happened here? Well, we got to get our septic tank pumped. Well, I know the people to call, and that's Dino's Septic Service. They've got two numbers, 436-6526, or in Burley, 678-1638. Fast, fair, friendly service, serving you. I mean, they've even recently expanded their business to be bigger and better. So why don't you give them a call today? Dino's Septic Service in Rupert, with that big truck that says, smells cargo on the way. Dino's Septic Service. All right, your turn. Come on, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. What do you think about this? When I heard about this MSNBC so-called roundtable discussion, Everyday Racism in America, it was all basically geared against whites or Caucasians, you and me, and we're supposedly the racists that are causing all the trouble. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. It's a Senior Junction today. We're having roast pork and starts with some vegetables and yummy dessert. Tomorrow is beef stroganoff and all of the trimmings. I invite everybody to be there. We need more people. And if you want to volunteer for 2 or 3 hours in the morning, well, they can use some volunteer help in the kitchen.
All right. Well, Joe, I'll tell you what, the word is out to help. Volunteers needed at the Senior Junction. Excellent food to eat and kind of rub elbows with a lot of history right there and a lot of people that like to share. I'll tell you, we'll have them come on over.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, my friend.
Appreciate all you do.
Thank you, Joe. What a nice man, Joe Taylor, on behalf of the Senior Junction. Quite a guy. Quite a guy. But a lot of respect for him. What are your thoughts? Come on, give me a call on Louis Farrakhan. And, you know, what's happening here with these people like Louis Farrakhan coming out and making a statement like, well, we need to have an end to white men, and saying that their nature is not in harmony with the nature of God. Okay. Then you've got all the kooks, crackpots, and the ne'er-do-wells in our society that pick up on things like that. And then we have more violence. We have more divisiveness. But then the return is that if your pastor or member of your church stood up at the pulpit and said, well, we've got to have an end to black men, brown men, yellow men, whatever the case might be, all heck would break loose and that person would be probably jailed, fined, thrown into oblivion. Oh, yeah, but the reverse right now is going on, and it's accepted to say an end to white men. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Do you agree or disagree with me?
I agree with you. It's racism, whether it's against the blacks, whites, or who it is, or who's saying it. Like Michelle Obama, the trouble with America is the white people.
Yes. Okay, now stop right there. Doug, wait a minute. Now just say that sentence again. Say that sentence again, only insert another race. Go ahead, say it again.
Exactly. You know, it's no matter what, you know, it's okay for them, the left, the liberals, to condemn white people. You've got white privilege. The problem with America is white people. All white people should die, but that's okay. But you take a white person and say that about a black person, they go ballistic.
If you and I were talking 3 years ago in the middle of Obama's second term, and I would have said, boy, the reason we have all the trouble in America today is because we elected a black president. Oh, Dougie, the walls would come caving in.
Exactly. But the reason we're going to all that trouble in America is we elected a president that wanted to take this country down, that did not like this country.
I do not understand how programs or networks or people can, like Louis Farrakhan or this Tim Wise or MSNBC in general, how they can get away with this without thinking that the American public isn't smart enough to perceive, well, wait a minute, if they're condemning me as a white person and they're condemning me as the person that's stymieing anybody from trying to be successful, gee, that must be racist on their behalf.
It must be. I mean, the people can't. And no, I got a call. Just a minute.
All right. He's gone.
Okay, no, I'm still here.
Okay.
Candace Owens and those, what's those two gals that...
Silk and Spice.
Yeah. Those two.
No, Diamonds and Silk.
Diamond and Silk.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And they said the person that is screaming racism is 95% of the time the racist.
That's true. I believe that.
It comes from two black gals that I admire very much, and that Candace Owens, I just love what she's doing.
Well, let me ask you a quick question.
Okay.
Who was the last president?
Barack Obama.
Okay, who was the last attorney general?
Oh, Kerry.
No. Eric Holder.
No, he was before. Oh, Harry Holder and then Loretta Lynch.
That's right, Eric Holder.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, now let's think for a minute. They were black.
Yep.
Okay. When we start looking at Maxine Waters and we start looking at others in Congress, their skin tone is black. So are they trying to tell us that there are no advantages, that there are no opportunities, that there is no education to exceed in this country? That's a bunch of baloney.
It is. If this country was so doggone racist, there would be no way we would have black or Hispanics or any other race in the Senate, the Congress, or presidency, or any high appointed office.
Who are, by race, most of the millionaires on a basketball court?
They be black.
Oh my, you're doing quite well. And are there not only many millionaires on the basketball court, but multimillionaires on the ball field?
Yep, football field.
So I guess what you're trying to tell me is maybe there are opportunities in a lot of different fields, including law, including business. I think you need to talk to Mr. Herman about the rest of those opportunities. I think he can tell you. Herman Cain, very successful.
Very smart man.
Okay, what else can I say?
Exactly. We're not a racist country, and you know it, I know it, but the race baiters keep making their money off of it.
Amen.
That's what they're doing.
You've got 15 seconds.
you get to the next caller, everybody, let's do what we can for our senior centers. Let's take care of them. I've got a raffle going on for the Minidoka County Senior Centers. 3 tickets, $5, and you win an almost brand new John Deere lawnmower.
And we're going to talk about that next week, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, buddy. All right. Take care. Caller, I'll be right with you. I promise. Don't hang up, please. I hate the sound of that beep, beep, beep. Barry Equipment and Rental, Sales, Service, and Parts, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. We're going to be talking to Juan at 10:23 this morning, as a matter of fact. And also Eli at the 465 Addison Avenue West location in Twin Falls and the Nampa location. All the equipment rentals, all the retail equipment sales, all the Walker lawnmowers, all the Bobcat excavators, all shapes and sizes. Wow! They got it all for you at Barry Equipment and Rental, Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa. You stop in and see them today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Yes?
Well, you're talking this racist thing, and it drives me crazy because, so I just happened to look up Valerie Jarrett's DNA test, and she is 49% European, approximately 28% Irish and Scottish, 16% Scandinavian, 3% Western Europe, 2% Ashkenazi, I probably said that wrong, Jewish. Then she's 46% Sub-Saharan African, 24% Nigerian, 8% Congo, 6% Ivory Coast and Ghana, 5% Senegal, 2% Eastern Bantu, and 1% Benin and Tonga, and 5% Native American. So which one of those races did she get disparaged?
You lost me on the Congo, lady.
Yeah, but which one was it? You show me one person who is 100% pure something, and they've never seen the outside world.
Well, I agree with you, but what are we going to do now? I'm assuming that you are a Caucasian, correct?
Yes, I am.
I am too. Okay, now, and Wheels...
European.
Okay, Wheels, we got a little feedback here. Ride that gain. I am sick and tired, and I mean this. It's frustrating to me to be denigrated and, quite frankly, damned by liberal whites and other races as being the cause of problems in our society. Aren't you?
Yeah, I'm getting a little tired of it. I mean, it's just like Obama. Oh, he's our first black president. No, he's not. He was at least half white.
That's right. He was mulatto.
Exactly. And, but like I said, with Valerie Jarrett, in my opinion, what Roseanne said in that tweet was not nice, but it was against a person,
yes,
not a race, not a group of people. It was against a person, and that does not make it racist. Racism is you think that a race is you are superior to somebody, some other race. It's like Hitler and the Germans thought they were superior to everyone else in the world. That's racism, and you can be racist against your own color. You can be racist against people from your own neighborhood, whatever.
Well, let me ask you this. When you hear the phrase or the sentence from Louis Farrakhan, the leader of Nation of Islam, and he said that they are calling for an end to white men, what does that mean to you?
That is so racist, it's not funny.
Well, no, but what is an end to white men? Doesn't that sound like a horrific killing or purging or demolition of white people?
Either that or a lot of inbreeding.
To me, it sounds like they want to have a Hitleristic attitude, like we're going to round them up and we're going to kill all of them. When you say an end to white men, that scares me.
Yeah, well, and that man should have been in prison a long time ago.
Now, what would happen... What would happen, my dear lady, if your pastor at your church stood up on Sunday morning and said, well, the only way we're ever going to get the United States back together again is to have an end to all black men? What would happen? I'll guarantee you the walls would cave in.
Oh, man, that building would be blown up so fast.
Yeah. But you see, there's a double standard in this country, and that double standard from the liberals is absolutely starting to grow like a cancer. Would you agree with that?
It is. And this isn't even a new attitude, because look at how many people back when the pioneers were moving west, and I don't care what color the pioneers were. They said every Indian was a dirty Indian. They didn't even try to get to know them.
That's right. No, I agree with you, and I certainly appreciate your viewpoint, but I'll tell you what, this problem is not going to go away. It's being exacerbated by the race baiters and haters like the Farrakhans and the Sharptons and others, and it's about high time that it was put an end to. But the media is jumping aboard this problem.
Yeah, and that's the one that makes the news. If somebody were to tell me I'm racist, they're full of it, because went to Utah last weekend and pulled into a rest area, and there was a guy who thought he was crying. He was putting teardrops in his eyes, and I went over to give him a tissue, and if had he been crying, I'd have gave him a hug, and his friend came out of the bathroom, and they were on their way to Louisiana, and they were just, their skin was about as dark as it could possibly get, and I gave the guy a hug.
Well, there you go.
Before.
There you go.
Because I thought he was crying.
There you go. You were trying to be compassionate.
I was. It was just, the sun was the eyes. He's putting teardrops, but it looked, So. I
appreciate your kindness, and thank you for your call this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I just think that right now in our society, I've always felt I could sit down and talk to anybody and be friends with anybody. But now, when the fingers are being pointed at us, Caucasians, by the Farrakhans and by these nincompoops that call themselves journalists at MSNBC and other locations, like Tim Wise, etc., saying, well, the reason we've got all the problems in America today is because of you white people. Yeah. And nobody can succeed because of you white people. That makes me fighting mad. And when our college campuses devote time to more racism and divisiveness, those higher bastions of education, I think, should have their doors shut. Instead of having free speech, and instead of having free thought, and instead of inspiring education and getting to know people, they're coming out with classes being offered on white privilege, those nasty whites. Or we got to have a couple of days a month where the whites can't even come on campus. We'll show them. Or they have different things going on to absolutely discriminate against white people, white students. And they're getting away with it. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Let's go with the weather forecast and then some more calls. Mount Harris, yes, sir.
I was just going to let you know that you have Keith on phone A and then Linda on phone B.
Well, I'll come back, and Keith's already been on once, and I'll put him second. We'll go with Linda in just a moment, so stand by. I want to get the weather in here real quick. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they're located right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room, and the number for you to call for a hearing screening, absolutely, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, 312-0957. They are dedicated to serving people with hearing loss of all ages. 312-0957. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's your weather forecast as we make our way through the day, and we are expecting some more storms in our forecast. Scattered rain showers and isolated thunderstorms off and on in the morning and this afternoon. Some thunderstorms may produce some damaging wind, large hail, and heavy rainfall. We are expecting a high right near 68, and the winds are going to be out of the east right around 10 miles an hour. Tonight, those rain showers and scattered thunderstorms could continue. Slight chance of rain showers after midnight as well. Plus, it's going to be colder. We are looking at a low possibly of 41. Tomorrow, as we head into the weekend, mostly sunny skies, slight chance of rain showers in the morning, windy, and the high is going to be close to 68. Winds out of the southwest 10 to 20 miles an hour. Friday night, clear skies with a low expected of 40 for Saturday. Sunny skies, high of 78 and possible 85 for Sunday. And that's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. I urge you to get over and see Dr. Pickup and Dr. Mitchell, and two excellent doctors of hearing health. Give them a call, 312-0957, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you, Linda.
Good. And I hope our Deanne is doing well.
We'll hope and pray for the better as the weeks go by. Thank you very much.
You bet. Well, she's on a couple of prayer chains that I put her on, and she won't be taken off.
I appreciate that, Linda. Thank you very much.
And, I went to school with about 7 different, well, some of them were races, and some of them are cultures. And maybe 8, even, because when I consider it that we went to school with the Basque kids in Boise, never considered them, we knew they were Basque, but we considered them one of us, along with the consideration of their culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I am thinking that what's happening is if these other races, including Louis Farrakhan and his crew, are saying we can't get anywhere or nobody else can because of the whites, wait a minute. Are they using us as an excuse?
Absolutely. They're using us as an excuse, and they're also using us as a pawn to elevate themselves and denigrate white society. Even though white society, and I'm going to be blunt about this, it's true, white society in general in the United States has made America what it is today. Now, that is not to denigrate any other race, but I'm saying that if it weren't for the likes of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, and others, where would we be?
Yeah. And then there was a man who freed the slaves.
Oh, yeah, I think I heard of him. Isn't his name Abraham somebody?
I think so.
But the thing is, Linda, I'll bet you, and I know you're going to agree with this. Caller number 2, I'll be right with you. But without any talk of divisiveness and without any talk of racism and without the race baiters and haters like these idiots, and that's what they are, Tim Wise and Louis Farrakhan and Al Sharpton and many others, and if we just met people and took them on their own merits and, hi, how are you? Oh, you want to have this job? What are your attributes? What are your challenges for this job? What can you do for this business? Hire them. I think the world would be a better place. But no, the race baiters and haters have to get involved.
Well, yeah, we're looking at trying not to discriminate by hiring people of different races, and sometimes the guys that are Caucasian get left out.
That's exactly. Oh, right on. That's right.
Again, we need to ask questions. What are your skills? What can you do for this business? How well can you work? By the way, my son just went to work. I never thought I would see this happen, but he is now working for an oil provider company in the oil fields, and will be going to North Dakota on Friday. And this is something I thought I would pass on to you. This is the only job this kid could get, a 37-year-old kid, outright.
Wow. That
gave him enough hours, and I think that he will learn some more skills and things from it. This may be a really good opportunity for him.
Absolutely.
But this is what one of the recruiters told him. And this has been a really good company. They treat their people very well. They said they like to hire people from Idaho because of their work ethic.
I have heard that before, and I have a lot of respect for that statement, and I know some families that fall right into that category. Linda, I've got another call waiting, but God bless you for your thoughts this morning. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care, and God bless you in the end.
Thank you so much. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I'd like to make a comparison. Just a second. Let me turn my radio down.
Yeah, please do. I can't have radios blaring in the background. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'd like to compare two black people, athletes, and how they have been an influence on America. Shaquille O'Neal, a great big black guy who went into the NBA right out of high school and played really, really well, went on to get his college degree. And he has many businesses where he hires people and he makes America great again.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, there's one other black player that's very famous, and his name is LeBron James. And he is the filthiest minded mouth person that I know of. And he's trying to destroy what Shaquille O'Neal has presented to us.
Well, you know, there's always going to be a division or a teeter-totter effect in all races. Some are good, some are bad, up, down, bing, bang, boom, like a ping-pong ball. Shaquille O'Neal, I think I have a lot of admiration for the man. He's also involved in law enforcement and has studied and passed the qualifications to be a law enforcement officer. And on the other hand, you always have the bleeding heart liberals that are condemning race in America and blaming the whites. I agree with your analogy there. I don't like LeBron James. I don't like a lot of these new NBA players, or for that matter, NFL or Major League ball players that are of color that always want to play the race card instead of saying they're a member of a team and they're out to win as a team.
And a good comparison there is Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. They didn't really like each other, but thank goodness Shaquille made the difference, and he's the one that was the not the divider, but the opposite of dividing.
The unifier. Thank you.
The team together.
Yep. Got to run, Keith.
I admire him to know him.
I appreciate your call back. You brought up some good points. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that.
You bet.
Hey, don't forget Scott Gano Landscaping and Tree Trimming at 336 South, 450 west of Hayburn. And the number to call, I'll give you two numbers. You probably won't remember them, but you can look them up. 438-2485 or Scott's cell at 431-8733. Whoo, with all the wind and everything else going on, you probably got some tree damage, limb damage. Well, if you need to get them all trimmed up, don't forget to call Scott Gano Landscaping and Tree Trimming. And it is time to get your fruit trees trimmed, too. They can do the job. Call for an appointment. Scott Gano Landscaping and Tree Trimming, 431-8733. Wheels, did I have another call waiting? I thought I heard the cow, and tell me if I did.
No, you're okay, sir.
All right, thank you. Calls welcome. By the way, today is slogan day for a man that's having a birthday, and go ahead, punk. Make my day. Yep, we're talking about happy birthday to Clint Eastwood. He is 88 years old today. Wow. Really? 88 years old today, Clint Eastwood. I had a chance to meet that man years ago when they were filming Pale Rider up north of Sun Valley. And a very, very nice man. Very nice man. And a great movie actor that's had a lot of success. Started with the Rawhide TV series, and then, of course, on to the Dirty Harry movies, and then, of course, all the Westerns. Clint Eastwood, 88 years old today. Good morning, caller. Quickly, I've got 1 minute left.
Yeah, Zeb. I try to look at everybody I meet first time and try to figure out the content of their heart. Because what's their blood still red, the color of their skin doesn't matter. It's the way they feel in their heart. And there are some people that are white that are just as nasty and vile as you can find in a black person. And there's just some black people and other races that are just the kindest, most sweet, outgoing people that give you the shirt off your back if you need to.
I agree.
And it's the content of the heart we got to find.
Amen. I tell you, Riley, you're spot on. That's the way it should be. Thank you. God bless you for your call.
You have a good day.
All right, sir. Don't forget our major sponsor, and I mean this. Get ready for a road trip with the best and the safest of tires and all the different tread designs from your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, my. All 7 locations serving you. Why, they've got great tires for your car like the Ultra Z900. Woo, that's an all-season traction tire. Absolutely. It's on sale right now, too. And don't forget, too, for the pickups and the SUVs, the Backcountry Touring HT, or the Backcountry All-Terrain Tire. Oh, yeah. Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with the best in tires. Cars, pickups, SUVs, horse trailers, boat trailers, all of this and more. Get a hold of them today. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, I've got exactly 20 seconds. Go fast.
That's all I need. Clint Eastwood. Have you seen the movie he produced called Firefox?
Yes.
Wow, that's quite a movie where he goes over to Russia from the United States government and steals a Mach 6 aircraft called the MiG-31. It's quite a movie, anyone who hasn't seen it, but I've often associated him with that movie.
Well, I'll tell you what, Clint Eastwood, an excellent actor, writer, director, and producer. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Bye.
All right, yep, Clint Eastwood, 88 years old today. Right now, this old man is going to say we're going to get out of the way for the CBS News and be back in about 7 minutes. Wheels, take it away. Oh, here we go. Hour number 2 on a Thursday, the last Thursday of May, 31st already. Holy cow. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And don't forget some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. We're going to have the Chamber Report in just a moment. Stand by. But right now, I also want to remind you about Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Hayburn. I'll tell you what, Dr. Bill and the crew, they can help your pets and livestock. They're a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small, they love them and take care of them all. Absolutely. And don't forget to spay and neuter your cats and dogs. You don't want a whole bunch of unneeded pets and unwanted pets. No, please remember that and check with the Ark Animal Hospital. They can and they will help you. 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Hayburn. Ark Animal Hospital 678-1177, where they have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Absolutely. One other quick note, don't forget our friend, and he is such a friend, to the various projects going around in the community, always with a smile on his face. That's Joel Heward, the manager of Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, with his family and his staff serving you and your family in a very critical time of need when there's the passing of a loved one. Please call them. They can help, always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. Number to call, 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary with Joel Heward, and Joel also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and I believe we have the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce director on the phone, Sarah Seymour. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you today?
Well, if I was any better, the wrong fat man be wearing my clothes.
I love it.
What's going on at the Chamber?
Oh, my goodness. We have so many things going on this summer. I just encourage you to go to our calendar on MinneCasiaChamber.com and just view everything, but I'll give you the highlights today. How's that?
That sounds good to me.
All right. Tomorrow, Friday, June 1st, from 12 o'clock till 3 p.m., Continental Loans is going to have their annual Customer Appreciation Day. They're located at 16th and Overland in Burley at the Overland Shops, and they're going to be there with Hat and Soul, Miss Marie's, and all that stuff, and they're going to have food and raffles. So come and support them. We're super excited about it.
Okay.
CSI is going to be having a safe babysitter training at their Burley location tomorrow as well. If you are interested, there is a fee associated with that, but you need to contact CSI at 678-1400 and get registered.
Sarah, let me interrupt you right there and ask a question. Is it harder today, more difficult to find good, competent babysitters as maybe 10 to 20 years ago?
I think it is. Absolutely.
Why is that?
Well, I have kids myself, and it seems like kids are so busy with all these other activities, it's hard to find one in general.
Oh, okay. Pardon my interruption.
No problem. Coming down the line next week, we have a brand new member here at the Chamber. They just walked in and joined, and we're super excited about them. It'll be Greystone Crossings Boarding House in Hayburn. They were going to have an open house and ribbon cutting Thursday, June 7th from 11:30 to 1:30. That's located at 1221 21st Street in Hayburn, and they're going to have food, and the radio station will be there, and it'll be so exciting. We want you to all come out and see their new boarding house.
Well, it sounds like a real good business, and it sounds like you're getting a lot of people coming through your door.
We are, and we're so excited that everyone is just, being a member of the Chamber, getting involved in the community. We're so excited to see it.
Okay. Anything else?
Oh, absolutely. We are hosting an open house here at the Chamber. That'll be Tuesday, June 12th from 10 o'clock to 4 p.m. That'll be a great opportunity to come in and meet me if you haven't already, and also see our brand new website and kind of some of the features that it'll offer our members. We'll have a presentation on that. We'll also have ribbon cuttings for two other members, Pose and Post Picks and Sawtooth Floral. We'll have their ribbon cutting sometime during that time, so watch our calendar for the update on that. 2 days after that, Thursday, June 14th, we'll have our monthly luncheon at Minidoka Memorial Hospital in Rupert. Monsanto will be doing a presentation about the phosphate mine coming to the Soda Springs area and how it will impact Idaho, so you won't want to miss that one.
Wow. I'm sure if I said, do you have anything else, you'd say, yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Our Mini Cassia Scramble for Commerce is coming up Wednesday, June 20th. That's a members-only event. If you'd like to be involved next year, please contact us and become a member of the Chamber. Also that day, June 20th, from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m., ISU Credit Union in Burley is hosting a business after hours. That's going to be a great event. There'll be prizes and catering by Lulu's. We don't want to miss out on that one either.
Man, oh man, I don't know how you're keeping up on all this stuff. You must have a list like Santa Claus.
Oh, it seems like it. We're checking it twice, that's for sure.
Anything else?
We do have some tickets for our members on sale here at the Chamber. We have Idaho Regatta quilt raffle tickets. You can come into our office here and buy those. We also have Rockin' the Snake tickets. That's coming up June 16th. So get your tickets here at the Chamber because part of that ticket amount will stay in our organization. So that'll be wonderful. We're looking forward to it.
Wow. Did you have any idea that this job as the director was going to just be a rapid-fire, everyday type job?
I was hoping that it would be. It's challenging, and I like it.
You've got the attitude and the personality like, look out, here comes Sarah, pave the way. She's coming through.
Absolutely.
I love it. Anything else before I let you go this morning?
There's just so many events in our area. Please check out our calendar. We're adding tons of events every single day, and that's the best place to keep up on what's going on in our community.
Now that I have just a moment or so, tell me about people that may be new to the area and they don't know about how to join. They don't know where you're located. They don't know your office hours. Give us all that wrapped up in a nutshell.
Absolutely. We get new people in our office every day. We're located at 1177 7th Street in Hayburn. You can find us online. Our website is new. We're updating it all the time, www.minicasiachamber.com. You can call us here, 679-4793. We're here Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We'd love to see you.
Well, you and I have never met formally, so one of these days I'm going to have to drop in and say hello.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I would like to do that.
All right, Sarah, thank you so much, Director at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. You do a wonderful job, and we'll look forward to hearing from you on next Thursday.
Sounds wonderful. Have a great week.
Thank you very much. What a lady. Boy, you can tell by her rapid-fire vocabulary and speech, she's a go-getter. I really like her, Sarah Seymour. We got to pay some bills here real quick, and I want to remind you that next Tuesday and every Tuesday during the summer, we have a segment with Vicky's Country Garden with the lovely Miss Vicky over there at 185 South, 600 West of Paul. And it's a gardening for idiots, named after me, but I'm learning. And Vicky, of course, celebrating 21 years in business, helping your garden grow. And by golly, all you need to do for more information is stop in Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul, or give her a call at 438-5663. And let's also mention to you our friends at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Hello, how you doing over there, Jeff and the crew? You know, they've got all the Beauty Rest mattresses, all sizes, and they've got a brand new shipment of sofas and recliners and love seats, and absolutely, and I know this to be a fact, I've taken the tour, huge selection of carpeting. All of this and more for your beautification and comfort of your home at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Located at 459 Overland in Burley. Jeff and the folks, they really know furniture. They know carpeting. They know everything about getting things really spick and span around your home and looking beautiful and comfortable. So give them a call or stop in. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, 459 Overland in Burley. Got a couple of public service announcements I need to get on real quick. The 4th Annual Idaho Roll Call Memorial Ride is going to be this Saturday, and they're going to have the ride start at exactly 9:30 a.m., leaving from Let's Ride in Rupert, and led by J.R. Strunk and the gang, and they're going to all come back to 7th and Scott at 1 p.m. for the program at the Idaho Roll Call Monument this coming Saturday. Thank you, George, and the rest of the crew. Classics on the Grass this weekend at the Cache County Fairgrounds in Burley. This Saturday and Sunday, the Mini-Cache Auto Collectors 32nd Annual Classics on the Grass. And Jimmy Flowers is going to be with me in just a little bit this morning. We're going to talk about that. And do I have anything else I have to mention right now? I'm going through my papers. Oh, yes. The Jerome and Twin Falls Republicans are sponsoring a reception for retiring Maxine Bell this Saturday from 10 to noon at the Jerome Country Club, wishing Maxine Bell the very best in retirement. Right now, we're about all set to go with our next segment, and that, of course, is the introduction of great, great people, knowledgeable people, and caring people at your Cache Regional Hospital. Let's hear who we have on the program today.
People caring about you and your health care in the most professional and progressive ways. That's Cache Regional Hospital, located at 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. In a moment, we'll introduce you to just one of the many dedicated medical experts serving you at Cache Regional Hospital. Today's program, right after this. Cache Regional Hospital provides you and your family excellent health care answers and services. They're right here, close to home. That's right. Cache Regional Hospital offers the latest technological advances in medicine, like their new oncology programs and telehealth, which uses electronic information and telecommunications to promote long-distance patient and clinical health care. Your friends, your neighbors. Cache Regional Hospital, 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. Quality care, close to home. On the phone with us today for Cache Regional Hospital is Camille Wynn, and she is the pediatric speech therapist at Cache Regional Hospital. Good morning, Camille, and please tell us a little bit about what you do at Cache Regional.
Hi, so like you said, I am the speech therapist here for pediatrics primarily. So I work with kids who can't talk, or maybe kids who they're not sounding right, their sounds are coming out kind of funny. I also work with kids who have had concussions, so maybe they're having a hard time paying attention or remembering things after their concussion, so I'll work with them on strategies for that.
My goodness, what is a day in the life of Camille at Cache Regional? I mean, you're talking about a wide variety of different patients and different treatments.
Yeah, that's kind of the fun thing, and that's actually what brought me to Burley, is that I wanted the wide variety, and so it's really fun to get to see so many different types of people and see so many different kind of things going on.
Camille, let's talk a little bit about speech therapy. I mean, what do parents see or realize that would make them want to call and have an appointment with you?
So there's lots of different things. I think the biggest thing is when you're looking at little children around the ages of 2 or 3, just looking even at their peers and seeing if they're saying as many words as their peers. So a 2-year-old should be saying, have a vocabulary of about 50 words. They should be starting to put words together. So just kind of keeping an eye out and looking at their friends and kind of comparing and seeing if it's the same.
Are a lot of kids, they follow a pattern, and you can kind of set a pattern with what they do or don't do, but are some, to use the terminology, late bloomers as far as even trying or attempting to speak?
Yeah, that happens a lot, and sometimes, when you bring them in, sometimes I look at them and I'll say, yeah, that's a late bloomer, don't worry about it, keep following them, keep watching, keep an eye on it, and then other times I'll say, I think that they need some extra help, let's get them into therapy.
So tell us, at that point where the moms and the dads say, we need to get to Cassia Regional and talk to Camille Wynn, what is the procedure from that point? How do you go about talking to them, teaching them, and helping them learn?
So there's a whole bunch of different strategies, and especially for kids that young, a lot of it is more parent coaching. So I only see the kid for maybe a half an hour a week, and I can't make that much of a difference in only a half an hour. So I'm spending a lot of time talking to the parents and showing them how to do things so that they can go home and use these strategies at home to increase their language.
So mom and dad basically are the important cog in the wheel that you're actually teaching and training them, maybe more so than the child, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, give us some examples of what you tell mom and dad and some of the things they need to do.
So I think the biggest thing is trying to get a child to interact in any way possible. So at first a child might not be saying words, but even if they're pointing, that's a really good indication, or using gestures to communicate. And then after they have gestures, trying to get them to say words, so you can hold up an item and have them say, and you say the word, and then wait and see if they'll say it, and then you say it again, and then wait if they'll say it, and keep just trying to get any form of communication and kind of moving up from there.
Are there tests, Camille, that parents should be cognizant of as far as maybe testing their children for autism or any other problems if they start to notice that maybe at 2.5 or 3 they're not saying anything?
Yeah, the biggest thing for autism, I think the biggest rule of thumb is to look and see if they're making eye contact, and then look at their play skills. Are they playing with toys appropriately the same way other kids would? Are they moving their cars up and down, or are they just spinning the wheel? That's the biggest thing, I think, for autism. That's kind of a quick, easy rule of thumb.
Okay. Now, you mentioned earlier that you also work with children that have suffered concussions, and concussions are a big scare in today's age. Why, and can they be overcome?
So the scary thing about concussions is that it's an injury to your brain. So it's a physical injury, like your brain is bruised. And sometimes if it's a minor concussion, then that doesn't cause any problems. But sometimes things happen, and it may affect a person's ability to pay attention or to memorize, or maybe they'll become more impulsive because there's an actual injury there.
When you have a concussion, explain basically to my audience what happens to the brain in a concussive event.
So like I said, it's almost like a bruise. The injury actually affects kind of those neural pathways between different parts of the brain. And so because of that, then there's different symptoms depending on where it is in the brain and what happened.
Okay. Now, I would imagine that you work with children, but now aren't some of the same principles going to be applied, like if an adult had a concussion and it might deter his speech or her speech? I mean, do you use the same principles?
Yeah, so I work also with a lot of adults who have concussions, or a lot of teenagers. I see probably more teenagers than any other population with concussions.
What can be done? Concussions, I mean, it can happen getting up and walking over to the kitchen sink. It can happen playing a game. It can happen riding a bike. Are we cognizant of the dangers, or are we not protective enough?
I think it depends on the person. I think some people are very cognizant, but I think it is, with sports or riding bikes, it's just really important to take the proper precautions. When you're riding a bike, it's important to wear a helmet. When you're playing sports, it's important to wear enough protective gear to protect your head.
Do you, when you have success stories, I'm sure, with these children and everything with their speech skills, etc., is there any rule of thumb in trying to teach speech to someone that might have had an injury or a tongue injury or even a concussion? I mean, what kind of a pattern of teaching do you use?
It really just depends on the patient and what happened. So for some patients, it's direct teaching, like maybe I'm retraining the words or I'm retraining the skill that we're working on. Or for other patients, maybe I'm teaching them strategies to cope. So maybe someone had a brain injury that's really severe and maybe they're not going to be able to get all those skills back, but we can teach them strategies to compensate for that injury so that their life is easier.
I see. Are some of the problems related to perhaps a lack of being able to hear?
Yeah, that is one of the most common causes of speech problems. We see that a lot.
Explain that a little bit, and what can be done to help eliminate that problem.
So, especially with children, if they have a hearing loss, it's like they're hearing things underwater. And so all the sounds get jumbled, they're not hearing words as clearly, so both their speech, meaning the way that their sounds are coming out, and then their language, like their vocabulary, can be impacted because they're not getting a clear message from others. We learn language by listening to others, and so if that's muffled, then it's going to be a lot harder to learn language.
Is there a rule of thumb or some kind of a ABC type system that parents can be aware of that maybe their child has a hearing problem?
So if their speech doesn't sound like all the other kids, like if they're really hard to understand, so a kid who's 3 years old, you should be able to understand 75% of what they're saying. And by the time they're 4, you should be able to understand almost everything. So if you're not understanding that, then it might be because of a hearing loss, and it's good to get that checked out.
Absolutely. Now, how does someone, a parent or anyone else, contact you at Cassia Regional?
So if the parent just has questions, they can just give me a call. I'm happy to answer any of their questions. And then to get an appointment, you would go to your doctor and express your concerns, and he'll send me a referral, and from there I'll call and make an appointment.
One of the great people at Cassia Regional Hospital, Camille Wynn, a pediatric speech therapist, and thank you for being on the program this morning.
Thank you so much.
Tune in every Thursday at 9:18 right here on Zeb at the Ranch for more about the people and the healthcare services at your Cassia Regional Hospital, 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. Quality care close to home.
I'll tell you what, every time I have one of those segments on the air, I learn so much about these great folks at Cassia Regional. Really, really nice people serving you. Talk about nice people serving you. Well, that leads me right up to Nick and Randy and the whole crew over at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Oh, my goodness sakes, they've got all the ATVs. They've got all the four-wheelers and side-by-sides. They've got them all. Showroom that is just cram-packed with fun. Absolutely. Along with a great accessory department. And above all that, they've got a great service department to keep you running, too. Stop over today. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. It's Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, where the fun is sold. And if you're over in that same part of the ground in Magic Valley, I want to remind you to make an appointment. Call Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. The number to call, 436-4424. They absolutely can help you, your family, and your business with all of your life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and more from people that are really dedicated and responsive to serving you. Once again, that number to make the call, make the appointment, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Really, really good folks. I mentioned a little bit ago, and I want to hit it again, that there's going to be a lot of things going on this weekend, and one of which is the Mini-Cassia Auto Collectors 32nd Annual Classics on the Grass Car Show, and that's going to be Saturday and Sunday at the Cassia County Fairgrounds in Burley. Don't miss that. And Jimmy Flowers is going to be on the program with us a little bit later on this morning for a real short interview. We had him on the other day, and we're going to be talking to him again about all the activities that'll be coming up at that excellent car show. And then also I mentioned it again, I'm going to say it one more time, if I can find the paper, the 4th Annual Idaho Roll Call Memorial Ride is going to be this Saturday, and they're going to end up at 7th and Scott for the ceremony and the program at 1 p.m., and this is absolutely an excellent event. George Mass, J.R. Strunk, the whole crew, remembering our fallen soldiers for the Idaho Roll Call Memorial Ride coming up this Saturday. Right now, we're going to go to the phone line, and I always look forward to Thursdays for one special reason, and that's I get a chance to talk to the lovely Rita Ramsey about politics and so much more. Good morning, Rita. How are you?
Good morning. I'm real good. Thank you.
I don't even know where to start this morning. There's so much going on in the news, so I think I'll kind of throw a potpourri of different things out to you. First of all, let's talk about Melania Trump. No matter what this lady does or doesn't do, or where she goes or doesn't go, the media is so quick to be of critics against her. She's been laying low a little bit the last couple of weeks since a surgery, resting at the White House with her family, and the media still criticizes her. What are your thoughts about that?
They're just not going to leave her alone. There is a double standard with them and us, and I say the blues against the reds or whatever. But the thing of it is they would say, oh, she's not wearing the right dress for this occasion. She's not doing the right that. She's blah, 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 blah. And yet Michelle Obama did nothing wrong, and everything she did was, oh, this is so wonderful, right down to her garden that she didn't work in and the whole bit. So it's just a double standard. It's horrible, and they're not going to leave her alone. They never will.
I love the way you said that about her garden. That, to me, was one of the biggest, funniest stories I'd ever heard. I want to talk to you also about North Korea. You remember when this thing was, and Wheels Ride the Gain on the back feed there a little bit, remember about a month and a half ago when this rumor came out that perhaps there was going to be a summit meeting with Kim Jong-un and President Trump, and everybody was going, wow, holy cow, look at this, and they were giving a lot of the credit to Kim Jong-un instead of President Trump. Then some of the cards were laid face up on the table, and Trump said that if it's not beneficial for the United States and our allies, I will walk away. And then the media booed him, and they said, oh, he's going to be a denigrating source against having this summit meeting. Now it's back on, and they still won't give this guy any credit.
Well, they won't, and if you remember, ahead of the ones you just mentioned, when it was first mentioned that he might do that, like, oh, no, we can't meet with him. Trump can't do that. It was kind of like, well, if he does that, it might show that we've got some goodwill towards those people. They bounce back and forth. They figure that if they just bounce back and forth, they can be on the opposition either way, and one time they're for and the next time they're against, so they really aren't taking a stand. They're just against Trump. They're against anything Republican, and there's a lot of Republicans that are in that same camp.
I agree.
Against Trump.
I agree. Speaking of politics and this mess Trump has had, and again, Wheels over the station, watch that feedback a little bit. The Mueller investigation is absolutely going into nothing more than a waste of time and money. There hasn't been anything found out. There hasn't been anything finalized. And honestly, I heard a report the other day, and I agree with it. It's nothing more than going to be, if left untouched and not stopped, a derogatory menace against the 2020 election and also the midterms this fall.
Well, that's their intent.
Yep.
Their whole intent was to make sure that they have a blue wave go across because everything's been so red. We've got to have a blue wave to take care of all of this and get our standing back. The big problem is that the people who vote conservative or red or anything but blue need to take into account that their votes are extremely important in these midterms as well as in the 2020 in order to maintain a Congress and a Senate that hopefully they'll get something done. I don't know, it's hard to say, but we can't let Pelosi have the steering wheel back. We just can't let them do that, and the same with Schumer. Wouldn't it just be lovely to have Chuck Schumer as the Senate Majority Leader?
You know, now, I didn't think that we would be writing a horror novel on our program this morning, but to have Nancy Pelosi back in power and Chucky Schumer and the likes of Debbie Wasserman Schultz and others, I mean, you're just making me break out in a cold sweat.
We all ought to be breaking out in a cold sweat because we know what it was like. And, you know, the thing that's really sad about this is in 2006, when George W. Bush was the president, the Congress was totally out of control, and we had the majority. They were totally out of control. They would spend to the nth degree. They would not, you know, clamp down on anything. It's just like, oh, carte blanche for everybody. We'll just do whatever. And they were just totally out of control. And so many people across the country, our state probably didn't matter as much as others because we don't have a lot of Democrats that get into either the Senate or the Congress. The thing of it is that there were so many people that were so mad about the Congress and their spending that they voted people out of theirs, and the Democrats took over, and we got Nancy Pelosi. And that went downhill from the very beginning and never did go uphill until we got the House back in 2010, I believe it was. But it was really, really bad, and we have to make sure that we don't have happening again of that same thing because you just never know where it's going to go. And if Pelosi gets back in there, I mean, I frankly think that she is not mentally all with us. I think she is on her way into dementia land or something. It's just really sad, but she is just not all there. And we don't need a proxy standing her up saying, you know, do this and do that and the other. We need to make sure that we don't let any kind of a blue wave come through. And the way that it's looking is it looks like that a lot of the Republicans will probably, you know, retain their seats in the Congress and in the Senate. But we have had some blue waves go through a few states that got rid of Republican state officers and state officials and governors and that type of thing. So we've got to make sure that we stay as conservative as possible, even though those back there are not conservative.
When you look at Nancy Pelosi, and you look at Chuck Schumer, and you look at Feinstein, and you hear about all the illicit and under-the-table dealings of Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and you look at that puny little absolute cookie jar stealer, Adam Schiff in California, and Eric Swalwell of California, what really does their party stand for as far as helping and bettering America?
Well, that's just it. They don't stand for anything about bettering America. They're trying to break us down and take us into either communism or socialism, and they're linked very closely together. It's quite ironic that the Democrats just can't lose, and that's what this Mueller thing is all about, is that they're so mad to think that Trump won that they can't stand it, and there were a lot of never-Trumpers that won't get on board and say, well, you know, I was a never-Trumper, but at least he's doing some things that are important, and there are a lot of things that Trump has done that are very, very notable, and I can just only imagine if Hillary was in there, we would all be probably in our bunkers waiting for the world to end. I don't know, but it's just really sad that they can't say, well, okay, Trump won, let's have a strategy. Instead, it's like, no, let's get special counsel this, and let's give them this. I really think that they're going to end up hanging themselves, this special counsel.
I do too.
The guy in the DOJ.
Rod Rosenstein.
Rosenstein.
Right.
Anyway, those people are they're just gathering up too much stuff and trying to find something when there is really nothing. You and I both know that if there would have been something, we would have heard about it a long time ago. It did do me good to see that there was a little bit of a deal on the Department of Justice and how it's called the Justice. It's one of those outfits that Judicial Watch. That's
right.
What it is.
Right.
That they went to the FBI and to the Justice. They went to the Justice Department and said, "You get a hold of the FBI and you let them know that we want to know the information that was between the two FBI people that were back and forth. That they need to save all of their stuff. We don't want any of this. Oh, sorry, it got lost in our emails, and we ruined it, and da-da-da-da-da, just like all of the Hillary emails. So those two have been served papers that they cannot get rid of anything, and they've got to hang on to it. So there is a little bit of stuff going on in the background. Of course, the only thing that's getting any notoriety is that Roseanne said some things that she shouldn't have said, and we won't take notice that there's a lot of Democrats that have said a lot worse things, and nobody ever made any kind of a thing. I'm not condoning what Roseanne said, because if I was her employer and she said that, I would say, you need to go rest.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Why the double standard, though? I mean, let's just mention names here for a minute. We had some absolutely despicable things happen with various so-called comedians, like Michelle Wolf, and she stood up at a press dinner, and she just she didn't roast her. She burned her alive, and I'm talking about Sarah Huckabee Sanders. It was uncalled for. It was extremely unprofessional, and it actually landed her a gig on her own TV comedy show. I don't understand the double standard and why it's allowed.
Well, the double standard is because it's Republican versus Democrat.
Yeah.
And you've got that Joy Reid, and you've got a lot of other people, and I thought that it was quite appropriate that President Trump would call out the Disney guy and say, hey, what about all the apologies that you guys should have, issued to me?
Right. Absolutely. I want to talk to you for a few minutes about another issue that I mentioned in the first hour, and I hope you were listening as we were talking about a gentleman, and I use that term loosely in his case. I'm only trying to be polite. Tim Wise and MSNBC having a roundtable discussion called Everyday Racism in America, and the people on this roundtable discussion, they were pointing the finger at white people, Caucasians, and blaming all of us for the racism and the problems in America today. Did you hear about it, or did you see it?
Oh yes, I didn't see it. I read about it, and it's just despicable because every white person, they're the ones who are racist. I mean, that was what their consensus was as well. It's just the white people that are racist. And they're bigots and da-da-da-da-da. And you can go through and find twice as many, or not twice, probably several times as many instances with the other side as you do the conservative side. In fact, very few conservatives actually say that kind of stuff because that's not the kind of people that we are. You have a few bad actors every once in a while, and they pick them out and pluck them and put them up on the end of a broom and wave them around like it's a flag, but there are so many of them from so many different, CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, and then all of the internet crap that you get, and they just totally ignore it. You have one bad actor that's, just like Roseanne. She really isn't a conservative, and she's not a Republican, but she's a little bit pro-Trump, so automatically that just puts her in, we'll we'll hang her on this one.
Well, but the race baiters, and I'm going to use that term because I absolutely detest these people, like Tim Wise, and also Louis Farrakhan, and Al Sharpton. The race baiters and haters are using this, like in Farrakhan's case. He came out and called for, quote, an end to white men. And he also said that the nature of white people is not in harmony with the nature of God. And if I said that regarding blacks, or you said that regarding Mexicans, all hell would break loose.
Well, absolutely it would. And then not to mention his anti-Semitism. He is actually such a Jew hater, and he has done all kinds of stuff and never been called out for it. And that's what's really sad, is that there's probably no one that is worse at racism on the other, or anti-Semitism, or any of that other kind of stuff than Farrakhan, and yet we'll just give him a pass because he's a buddy of Obama.
Well, and what really bothers me, and I know it does you too, is that there are college campuses all across the United States today that are offering courses on white privilege, and some of them are organizing No Whites on Campus today, and some are also being investigated for allegedly discriminating against white men and women to get them kicked off the college teaching boards. I mean, this is something that's happening, and it's being fed by the racist of Al Sharpton, Farrakhan, and others, and those nincompoops that were on MSNBC.
Well, that's absolutely right. The thing of it is if we had a campus that said, sorry, we only want white people here, we don't want any blacks.
Yeah, oh, boy.
Oh, my heavens. That would just be the end of the world, but that's what they're doing. We don't want any whites here. We only want blacks, or maybe Hispanics and, Oriental or something, but if they don't want whites, they're doing worse than if we just said, no, we don't want any blacks.
Well, they also made the inference, though, and this Tim Wise really devoted some time on this, on that MSNBC worthless piece of trash called Everyday Racism in America, when he blamed white people for literally putting thumbs down on any other person of color, and the reason they can't succeed is because of you and me. We're stymieing them. You know, the last time I looked, and I mentioned this first hour, you had Barack Obama, you had Eric Holder. You've got a multiplicity of people involved in politics that are blacks and of color. You have the majority of the NBA of color. I'm sick and tired of being told that I'm holding them back.
Well, and this is what happens when people don't know their history. You'll talk to people and they'll say, oh, and for the blacks and for the people who are on welfare, LBJ was just the savior. Well, if you start looking at history, you find out LBJ just happened to be in the White House when they finally got things planned, but he had every bigot bone in his body working against the blacks, trying to, basically corral them so that they would be on welfare and in the welfare system, so that they would be their voting share for forever and ever and ever. And yet many black people don't even know that because they don't know the history. And there are a lot of white people who don't know that either because they won't teach it in the schools, and people won't look at history and start finding out, who was it that was really favorable to the blacks once the blacks got here and they were slaves? Who was it that was always fighting against there being any slave population? It was not the Democrats. It was the conservative people, and they were the ones who were willing to go and put their lives out on the line and everything else. And it's the conservatives, the Republicans, that have always been favorable to the black people, and the Democrats have been just the opposite.
I totally agree. I've got to do a weather forecast. I'll be right back with more with Rita Ramsey in just a moment. Our weather brought to you this hour by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Of course, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. These people are so knowledgeable and so helpful with your tax return preparations, tax planning, financial statement preparation, superannuation, retirement planning, and so much more. Absolutely there to serve you with 2 offices in Burley and Rupert, Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And right now, here's the weather.
Here's your weather forecast as we make our way through the day, and we are expecting some more storms in our forecast. Scattered rain showers and isolated thunderstorms off and on in the morning and this afternoon. Some thunderstorms may produce some damaging wind, large hail, and heavy rainfall. We are expecting a high right near 68, and the winds are going to be out of the east right around 10 miles an hour. Tonight, those rain showers and scattered thunderstorms could continue. Slight chance of rain showers after midnight as well. Plus, it's going to be colder. We are looking at a low, possibly of 41. Tomorrow, as we head into the weekend, mostly sunny skies, slight chance of rain showers in the morning, windy, and the high is going to be close to 68. Winds out of the southwest, 10 to 20 miles an hour. Friday night, clear skies with a low expected of 40 for Saturday. Sunny skies, high of 78, and possible 85 for Sunday. And that's your weather forecast for Zeb at Durant.
Thank you very much, Gina. Appreciate it. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. As I said, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for over 50 years, helping you, your family, and your business. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert. Once again, Wheels, watch the feedback, ride the gain a little bit for me, please. And right now we're with Rita Ramsey on our telephone interview this morning. Rita, there was a story about a United Kingdom journalist over in England, Tommy Robinson. And I don't know if you caught this or not, but it is really scary for all of us involved in the media, all of us involved in telling people supposedly, I hope, the truth about news stories. He was reporting on extreme Muslim growth and lifestyles in the United Kingdom. He was warned in supposedly a free society not to report on this, and they said, if you do it again, we'll jail you. And he did, and they did. He's been sent to jail for 13 months. What is going on here?
Well, this is what happens when you don't stand up and say, you know what, we need to have freedom of speech in our country. There are other countries that don't offer that type of thing, but that's coming here, and if we are, stupid enough to believe that it won't come here, we're dreaming, because that kind of thing is already infiltrating Europe. It has to do more with the Muslim, the caliphate, if you will, that type of thing, and the Muslims they're like Christian missionaries. They're going out trying to give the good word of the gospel. Only thing is they're trying to spread their church word instead, and theirs is totally opposite. Theirs is you either take this information or you die.
Basically,
and that's what they're doing through the whole country, or through the whole United Kingdom or Europe. They've already done that through the Middle East, and they're just coming, and as soon as they get enough. And that's why there's so many of them here, and why it was so important for Obama to make it so that they could come here and be here, and we just take them, bring them in, and whether they like us or not, they're welcome here, and we'll take care of them and pay the bill for them.
The intimidation and the overpowering of these people over in the UK, and not, like you said, coming here also, is really scary, and all people involved in journalism, and all of us that believe in free speech and that First Amendment, we should be terrified of what's happening to this reporter, Tommy Robinson.
Well, we really should, and the part that's sad about it is you've got a lot of journalists out there, supposedly, that are digging and reporting and doing stuff, and it's all of a sudden kind of like, well, we're on their side. They should have this right. They should have that right, and everything else. And basically they're so stupid they don't understand that they're at risk of losing their opportunity to say that, let alone say anything at a later date. And it's really sad, but it comes down to I'm going to look at the things that the left is promoting. Anything that the right or anybody else says, that's just a bunch of baloney, and I don't need to worry about it. And they're digging their own graves, or rather stringing up their own noose, because that's what's going to happen.
You know, and one other quick story that I wanted to comment on this morning is that the black man that was on television last night, real quick, short comment on this, Rita, I'm out of time, but this black gentleman was talking last night about he does not agree nor will he ever support any more hyphenated American terms like black Americans, Hispanic Americans. He said we're all Americans and we need to get back to that. Did you see that?
I actually didn't see it. However, there have been a few people who have promoted that, and that is actually what needs to be promoted. But the black are going to have to be the ones who do it, because when we do it, we're racist.
Absolutely.
If they'll do it, then maybe we can get somewhere.
Rita, I always appreciate having you on the program. Thank you so much for your insight, and we'll look forward to next Thursday. I hope you have a great weekend. Rita Ramsey, thank you much.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All right, thank you. I love having that lady on my program. She does a great job every Thursday at 9:30. Rita Ramsey, thank you so much. You know, I'm on a self-imposed diet, and it's working. It is working. I'm wearing Wranglers that have been cowering in the corner of the closet for a long time, and now they're starting to come forth saying, "Wear me, wear me." Well, I can, finally. But at this time of the day on Thursdays, I get really hungry, almost to the point of starving to death. And I'll tell you some great places to go for lunch. How about the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley? Oh, that famous Farmer Brown burger. My grandsons absolutely love those. And fries and sauce for the fries and your favorite kind of shake. Oh, it's delicious at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Well, I know another great business, and that's Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. One of the great places to go to gather with your buddies and friends for morning coffee and have one of those breakfast burritos, scrambled eggs, bacon and sausage, cheese, onions, tomato sauce on a tortilla shell. Woo, baby, set the day off right. Taco Bandito. What a menu and great people at 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, let's not forget two locations of Burgers Etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. They've got that medium spicy chicken combo with fries and a drink, only $5. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. And every Sunday at the Burley location, shrimp dinner, only $5.99. Great people, and again, wow, what great food at two locations of Burgers Etc. in Rupert and Burley. Well, let's not forget what's happening over at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Food made the way you love it. And the patio's open on Friday, and they've got live music on the weekends. You got to try one of those delicious buffalo burgers. Oh, man. And they've got all kinds of delicious salads. And it's just a fun place to go and eat and meet with your friends. Absolutely. Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. You stop in and see those great folks this weekend. And don't forget, if you're hungry and starving to death, all of them can help you. Let's take a look and see what else have we got cooking here. Next hour, we're going to have Cassia County School Days, and I believe the lovely Debbie Critchfield is going to be on the program with us. Then at 10:23, we've got our business salute with Juan over at Berry Equipment. 10:30 this morning, we're going to have the start of the old fishing hole with Josh from Sportsman's Warehouse. He's going to be actually fishing while he's talking to us on the phone. Honest to goodness, over at Lake Walcott. And then at about 10:47, we're going to talk to Jimmy Flowers real quick about the great big Classics on the Grass car show. I'll be back here in about 5, 6, 7 minutes. Don't you go away. Oh, here we go into hour number 3 on this Thursday, May 31st. Good morning. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley. Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. I couldn't help but listen to that story that Paul Johnson had just a moment ago. How could anyone stoop that low? to rob and steal from the Christmas Council and take gifts and money, etc., away from people that need help and possibly some happiness at Christmas time. Now, personally, I don't know what's going to happen in that case with those teenagers, but they need to be severely punished, and I underline the word severely. But then also, I think they need to be made examples of. And the ones that they arrested, should be made to do the deliveries of the gifts on Christmas time, so that maybe they can really appreciate the hardships and the heartaches that they caused and realize the real meaning of Christmas. In just a few moments, we're going to get all set to go with our Cassia County School Days. And once again, I want to remind you that coming up on Saturday, the 4th Annual Idaho Roll Call Memorial Ride is going to take place and finalize over at 7th and Scott Street in Rupert for the program, and they're going to have food and all kinds of goodies. So don't forget, that's coming up on Saturday, this Saturday on June 2nd. We are ready to go with Cassia County School Days, and I'm very, very honored to have two great sponsors of this segment. It's the Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, and you know they've got all the baby furniture and all the baby clothing, and you know that they got all the games, puzzles, and toys, and you know that for us'uns, the older folks, they've got all the Cherokee scrubs, etc. It's really a family store. Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. And also, our thanks go out to Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland. And a number that you need to remember, 677-8888. 677-8888 for your outpatient surgeries like colonoscopies, carpal tunnel, possibly arthroscopic knee surgeries, etc. Please call them, 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center, along with the Child's World, bringing you School Days in Cassia County. And the lady that we owe so much to, and I mean that right here in this office, for the diligent work that she's done in lining up these programs every week on Thursday, Debbie Critchfield is with us this morning, the Cassia County School Communications Officer. Good morning, Debbie. How are you? Debbie, are you there?
I am. Something crazy happened in the universe, and it cut out for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is a real treat to have you on the program. I was not here last week. I think you were on the program. I had to take a little time off to...
I apologize for a repeat, but it's the last day of school.
No, I'm glad you're on because I've got some questions for you. And Wheels, the feedback, again, is terrible coming down the line to me, please. Debbie, with the end of school, and we hear stories around the United States, I don't care if it's New York City, Chicago, Florida, whatever, we hear about just kind of passing the kids to the next grade to get rid of them and shuttle them out the front door eventually. What about that testing to really make sure that they're capable and able to go up a grade?
This is a serious conversation that teachers have with parents as they've identified, and it happens. It's not frequently, but it occasionally does happen, and we see it more actually in the kindergarten arena, that teachers might identify a student that has struggled a little bit more than normal. And in those, those primary grades, you can see that. And it's not a end of the year decision that they look at and say, oh, this child on this particular test, didn't perform well, therefore, we're not going to move them, or we are going to move them, just because we socially promote students. So it's conversations that take place over the school year, as different things are identified. And as a state, and Cassia is right in there with other school districts looking at this, we're looking at more of mastery of the subjects and of the content, rather than just saying, well, at this age you need to be in this grade. It doesn't serve students well to put them in a position where they're going to unnecessarily struggle.
Debbie, when I asked that question, I know the diligence and the absolute caring that goes on with the school system in Cassia County. But I guess my question would be, why in other school districts? I don't care if it's in inner city Chicago or New York or wherever it might be. Why did they allow this to happen, and why aren't the parents putting their foot down for the betterment of the child's education and saying, wait a minute, he's not learning anything?
Oh, parents don't do that. In fact, that's the reason I believe is the biggest barrier for more of these situations where maybe we need to, reevaluate. It's I think there's a stigma that goes with holding a child back. Parents can be accusatory of a teacher not performing in the classroom. Well, it's maybe not my child's fault or our fault, but teacher, you didn't do your job very well. That is so. Using this example of, outside of Idaho, Florida, many years ago, when Jeb Bush was the governor there, they started a program where they did not, if a child could not read at grade level by the third grade, they did not promote them to the fourth grade. Third grade was the grade that they established, and research will show that that's the appropriate grade to say you need to be on grade level reading if you're going to be successful from there on. And the first time they instituted that, there was all kinds of backlash from parents and in the community, and they really weathered that well. And we're not talking thousands of children, but you maybe had one or two kids, maybe one in a grade or in a class, and a couple in a grade. It was enough that there was a real friction with the parents and the school and therefore the state. But they've got past that very nicely, and now they don't even think twice if a kid isn't ready. They don't look at it as a disservice for leaving them behind, but it becomes an advantage.
I see kind of a chicken and the egg theory here, and I want you to tell me if you think I'm wrong. And maybe in the inner cities, or maybe schools that really haven't got the caring as to whether they keep these kids and give them an education or not, there could be the problem with the teacher not showing any interest in just letting the kid sit there and passing him the next grade up. Or the other side could be that the teachers have basically begged, borrowed, and stealed trying to get the parents to get involved in the child's life, and they don't have any commitment with the parents to help the child. So you got kind of a double-edged sword there, don't you?
Yeah, I'd like to believe that it's the latter of those two scenarios. However, the first is present. There definitely are. I mean, I'm not going to defend that every single teacher across the nation is, as dedicated and as passionate as the next one. We see varying levels of that, and that's part of the structure and kind of the governance of a local district is that you have a building principal that is there to daily support a teacher and help them improve instructionally and with classroom management and all of those things. And then, of course, the principal is responsible to a superintendent. And so you have this, this kind of hierarchy of how can we help support that teacher be better. And teachers everywhere, and CASH is not exempt from that, are daily supported so that the first scenario is the exception.
I would think, after listening to what you said just a moment ago, that during the course of the school year, there is more than ample time for that teacher to put the word out to the parents, hey, we've got a problem with Johnny and Susie. They're not adapting or trying to accept some of the teaching and some of the coursework. We better make sure that this gets done and handled because at the end of the year it's going to be too late. I just don't understand why parents can't understand that it's critical that that child comes home, does the homework, or maybe the parents get involved at PTO meetings. I just don't see why the time factor, like I said earlier, has to go right to the end of the year.
Well, you've asked the magic question. All of those things are hurdles and obstacles that teachers deal with, and typically you can see a correlation between a child that is struggling in school and the absence of a parent being an active partner in the process. And so, yes, teachers reach out, and and I've been on your program promoting this for years. don't let parent-teacher conferences be the only interaction that you ever have with your child's student. You need to be having that ongoing conversation, and don't leave it up. It is the responsibility of the teacher to communicate progress in some of these things to the parent, but don't defer that responsibility to the teacher only. Have those regular conversations and really be the boss in that sense of what's happening with your child's education. It's so critical that parents be an active partner in that.
Absolutely. I've got about 3.5 minutes left in this segment, Debbie, and I kind of wanted to talk too. A lot of people have the misconception that on the last day of school, the kids run out the front door and the teachers run out the back door. It's not that way because you got all kinds of things going on during the summer, don't you?
Absolutely. Aside from professional development that takes place over the summer, teachers, by and large, are in education because they love learning. And so they like to learn themselves, and the summer is kind of that prime time for that. Most of our teachers, well, I guess that's maybe an overgeneralization. A significant part of our faculties have summer jobs. We have a teacher at DECLA, for example, that has worked with BLM, and he actually starts before school is out and works after school. And then we'll get very busy working with the fires during the summer. We have teachers that do a variety of jobs to supplement their income during the school year. And, of course, teachers like to have fun, too, but what we have found is so many of our teachers spend sort of this off time, if you want to call it that, preparing, learning, engaging themselves with other professionals so that they can be better when they come back in the fall.
And in the time remaining, there's so much that maybe the general public doesn't know about education and the management of the school system. Is there a way they can inform themselves or become more enlightened as to really what goes on in the Cassia School District?
We have this is maybe the simplest way and the first step, I guess. Of course, we always encourage people to visit with teachers, and they really are a first great source for systems and how things work. Principals, of course, and then we've got something on our website. Our website is casiaschools.org. That's a How Do I. It's a tab. It's very noticeable. Anybody could see it. We have a variety of questions that we get asked all the time, particularly myself. And so we've got something on there that if you have a question about, well, how do I do this or how do I do that, we've tried to generate this list, and we'll keep adding to it. How do I get a hold of someone if I have a problem if I have an issue with my child, so that parents understand what the protocols are. We hear a lot about how do I sign my child up for driver's ed. There seems to be common themes across the district. What if I suspect that my child is being bullied? How do I address that? And so if folks want to go to our website, they can click on that How Do I tab, and it'll drop down to a list of things. And if there's something on there that we need to have on there that we've missed, then we encourage people to let us know how we can help them.
Debbie, we've done this program for a long time, and there's some things I want to say to you. It would not have been a success without your great leadership in providing all the people that come on this show. So on behalf of your job, Cassia County Schools Communications Officer, Debbie Critchfield, I thank you so much. And then I think we need to give a great big shout out to our two sponsors, A Child's World and the Ambulatory Surgery Center.
Absolutely. Like you've mentioned, there's a lot of great things happening, and without our good sponsors, those things would just go to the wayside or just be, circulated in smaller groups. And so we appreciate this platform and the great support we've had.
Well, I want to say again, thanks to you for all you do, and hopefully we'll be talking to you during the course of the summer. I know you've always got great information. Debbie Critchfield, thank you for being on Cassia County School Days today.
Thank you.
God bless. Thank you much. What a nice lady, and just very, very professional in the way she approaches things. I like her. Debbie Critchfield. Thank you again to A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley and Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland, our sponsors of Cassia County School Days. Another quick note, as I mentioned, we're going to have Jimmy Flowers on the program with us a little later on in this hour. And one quick note, the Twin Falls and Jerome Republicans are sponsoring a reception for Maxine Bell, and that's going to be this Saturday from 10 to noon at the Jerome Country Club. And Maxine's retiring, and they want to have a great big shout out to her for the excellent job she did. Maxine Bell, nice lady. We're going to get all set right now. If Wheels, what about it, old buddy? Have we got Juan on the phone?
Yes, sir, we do.
Well, thank you kindly. Ladies and gentlemen, with us right now is Juan from the Burley location of Berry Equipment and Rental Sales, Service, and Parts. Juan, how you doing this morning?
Pretty good, Zeb. How about yourself?
Well, I'm a little tentative to talk to you on the radio because it seems like the last time I talked to you, I brought you some bad luck.
Yeah. Well, it was an accident. It happens.
Well, you're okay, though, right?
Oh, yeah. I should have got an accident a long time ago because they got me a new pickup.
Well, I'll tell you what, we put the word out for people to wish you get well quick. You don't have any bumps and bruises you're still caring for, I hope.
No. The only bad thing that happened is I got a cut on my face, so, I got proven that I could get uglier.
You know what? A cut on your face, though, that adds to sometimes the movie star attitude. Kind of like, maybe the movie Scarface or some boxing movie. You could tell them that you were an extra in that movie.
Oh, there we go. It makes me feel a little bit more tougher, huh?
There you go. What's going on this time of the year at Berry Equipment Rental at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley?
So we got a little bit of everything going on right now. I am actually right now in our infamous pit. 135 excavator down here and a T590 skidster that people already came and tested them out, and they're already on it. They're going to get ready to be put on the trailers and put out to rent.
Now, when you got that infamous pit behind the store, the training pit, or whatever you want to call it, you literally tell people if they come in to Berry Equipment and Rental, hey, don't worry about it. We'll take you out behind and teach you how to run it. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we'll come down here and you give us an idea what you want to do and we'll help you out with it. That T590 track skidster, we put an auger attachment on it, and one of the ladies that's putting up the fence want to know how to dig her hole. We dug 10 holes out here, and she's so confident to run the equipment now, she's taking it home.
Well, now she dug so many holes, you got to go cover them up, right?
Yep. So now if someone else comes down with you, Zeb, you can come down and we can fill those holes with the skids and give you some extra practice. I
got a feeling there's a lot of people that listen to my program that love to come down and have me be one of the hole fillers. Hey, tell me this, lawn mowing, Walker lawnmowers, man, you can mow up a storm. What about the Walker lawnmowers?
Yep, we have all sorts of different sizes of decks, machines, and if you want to collect or dump or just not collect any grass, we have them all here lined up. And all of our mowers, every single Walker is going 0% for 48 months.
Now, what makes them so special? I mean, what is it about a Walker lawnmower that everybody goes, woo, that's the cream of the crop? Why?
It's just a couple of things. One of them, the unique cut. They leave a beautiful, beautiful cut. And also the accessibility to the engine and all the decks and all the functions. And the extras that come with it. The one that I have, it has a high lift. So I don't have to get out of my mower. I just back up to my corral where my cows are at, and it lifts up about 6 feet in the air and then dumps the grass over, and I just dump it right over the fence.
Oh, my goodness, I didn't know that. And then you've got, of course, all the Bobcat excavators there that you were talking about. Now, are those Bobcats just for rent, or are they for sale also?
They're both. You can come rent them for the 4-hour minimum that you need them, or you can come and buy them and take them away home for forever. And those are also we got a deal going on with them that are for 0 for 48 months.
Okay. Now, what about the Bobcats? And same thing again, if they don't know how to run one, you'll teach them, right?
Absolutely. We'll go down the pit, we'll make a hole, we'll dig a hole, we'll fill a hole, whatever we got to do. We even got a couple pieces of concrete down here all our excavators come with a thumb, so we can go ahead and pick the rock up and move it to a different location so you can get a good feel for it.
You know, maybe people don't understand, Juan, all the different equipment that you have over there. Can you give us kind of a thumbnail sketch of all the different pieces of equipment?
Oh, absolutely. We have of course, our skidsters and excavators, but we also got rock splitters, we got rock chippers, we got trenchers, light towers, air compressors. We have it all. We got scaffolding and scissor lifts, compactors. We can set you up with what you need.
Now, how hard is it to run in there and rent a piece of equipment? I mean, is it pretty time-consuming, or is it real quick?
Well, it's pretty quick. Just come in and bring your license and bring in at least a half-ton pickup, and we can hook you up to anything that we have here.
All right. Now, why don't you tell us your hours and where all the stores are located, if you would?
Yep. The store with the best looking staff is the one on Burley on 159 West Highway 30, and we are open from 7:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday. We got the 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls. They are open 7:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday, and they're open Saturday from 8 to 5. And then also, we got our brand new location in Nampa. It's off 2200 Caldwell Avenue.
Okay.
They're open 7:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday.
You know something, Juan? You're a good old boy, and I'll bet you're looking forward to football season, huh?
I am. It's I went to the Shrine game on Monday, and it was a pretty exciting game.
Well, I wish you well, and please stay healthy. Juan over at Berry Equipment and Rental, God bless you, man. Thanks much.
Thanks, Deb. Have a good one.
All righty. That's one of the nicest guys you'll ever have a chance to talk to and meet, Juan, and he's the manager over at Berry Equipment and Rental, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Absolutely. Let's see where we're at right here. Wheels, by the way, I was going to ask you a question real quick. Are you going fishing anytime soon?
You know, I just told Debbie that I honestly might try this weekend if it's actually pretty decent.
Well, you're really going to enjoy a segment that's coming up after the break because we're going to be talking to Josh, and he is absolutely one of the sharpest guys I've ever talked to in my life. He is the resident in-house guru at Sportsman's Warehouse in Twin on fishing, and believe me, I think you're going to enjoy that segment.
Well, real quick, I know that I've been doing this with you for a while now, so it was great when you had it last year, and I missed that quite a bit, so I'm glad that you decided to do it again this year.
Oh, my goodness. Well, listen, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to have him on the air with us after this break, so I'm going to turn it over to you right now, and then we'll be back with more, and especially the old fishing hole in just a few minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
I am excited to have this next gentleman on our program because I'll tell you what, I just stood and talked to him a couple of months ago over at Sportsman's Warehouse in Twin Falls at 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard, and I learned he's the encyclopedia of fishing. Good morning, Josh. How are you?
Good, Zeb. How is your day treating you?
Oh, fantastic. You know, I am so proud to have you back on our program again this year with a program called The Old Fishing Hole, because just visiting with you and your enthusiasm and your knowledge at Sportsman's Warehouse, you really are an asset to the business because you know fishing. And speaking of which, you're doing some fishing right now as we speak. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We ended up in a little bit of a rainstorm this morning. We got out here about 7 o'clock and walked into one of these points that we like fishing, me and my son and one of my good friends, and had to weather through that little bit of a sprinkle we had this morning. But right now it's beautiful, Zeb. It's glass on the water, overcast. It's wonderful out here.
Well, tell me a little bit about where you're at currently, because every week on the program, on Thursday, the Old Fishing Hole, Josh is going to be at a different location trying to catch different fish, different species. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing today.
Well, right now we are on the south shore of Lake Walcott, part of the refuge over kind of near Smith Springs area, and we walked down the shoreline, and we've been fishing. We tried to fish rapalas, but with that little rainstorm, I think it made the fish a little lethargic, and they were kind of slow and short striking our baits. We were only catching small ones, and we switched over to some soft plastic swim baits, and it really turned the bite around and really kind of put a few fish in the bucket for us pretty quick.
Well, now, tell me this, Josh. On these programs that we're going to have every Thursday on my show, you're going to try to educate people about the right kind of gear to use to catch the right kind of fish and water conditions, where to go, etc. What about Lake Walcott? What are you specifically trying to catch this morning over at Lake Walcott?
Right now we're targeting the bass fishing, and we haven't caught a trout yet, but usually every now and again we pull in a trout when we're trying to target bass. Every now and again you get a non-target species when you're using the right bait, and we're waiting for that, but we're still targeting bass. And right now what I'd recommend, if anybody wanted to get down on that Snake River, is something with a medium action rod and a 6 to 7 foot length, some 10-pound test, and there's a lot of different soft plastics right now that I think would work for any gentleman that wanted to be out here fishing. You could be fishing 3-inch tubes. You could be, fishing a 4-inch Cinco, or what they call a dinger, which is just a soft plastic stick worm. Right now it seems like with an 1/8 of an ounce jig head and a 3.5-inch swim bait and just slowly reeling it in is working for us.
Well, now let's talk a little bit about where you're at. You're on the banks right now. I'm assuming not out in a boat. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. We're walking the shoreline, seeing how many ticks we can pick up.
Well, a lot of people, because of maybe physical impairments or whatever, they think, oh, well, I can't go fishing, I can't get out on the dock, or I can't get in a boat. But really, it's not that hard to be accessible to maybe catch some good fish. Talk a little bit about location a little bit, if you would, please.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different locations. We try to get away from as many people as we possibly can on my day off after handling all the public all week. It's nice to try to venture away from the dock a ways, but there's a lot of access spots that we have around the Magic Valley for somebody that might not be able to get out and fish as much as they'd like to. But down in Hagerman, we got some very accessible ponds for rainbow trout. Out here, it's pretty tough just because it is one of those places where we're at right now. You'd have to walk down the rocky shoreline to get to where you're at.
Uh-huh.
But, Lake Walcott is kind of difficult at times to access without a boat because there is a lot of brush shoreline and not very many roads.
Well, what about the bass? What about the bass themselves on your fishing trip today? What can a person, an angler, or a neophyte that's never done it before, what kind of size can they expect maybe to catch in Lake Walcott?
Really, a 2 to 3 pound bass is your average, and that's what's amazing about this place. It seems like you catch more fish that are over the 12-inch legal limit than under the 12-inch legal limit. You might not catch as many bass as you would in some of the other areas, but you don't have to sort out the ones that are small.
Well, now
it's hard to find a small one in this lake. It's kind of a beautiful reservoir in our backyard to be able to go fish.
Absolutely.
I grew up fishing American Falls Reservoir, and it reminds me of a lot of American Falls without the water fluctuation.
Mm-hmm.
Where American Falls is an irrigation reservoir, and this is more of a huge diversion. American Falls, the water will drop 4 or 5 feet every day when they get into hardcore irrigation season. But with the beauty of these two big bodies of water is the size of the fish. It's just, you've got a lot of acre feet of water. You got a lot of forage, and the fish grow fast, which benefits us fishermen.
Well, now, Josh, when you take up your real job, which is being the professional fisherman and encyclopedia of knowledge at Sportsman's Warehouse at 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls, when somebody comes into the store and they say, you know what, I was listening to you and Zeb the other day on the radio, I've never fished before in my life, what do you do to tell them what they need, the basics? I mean, what do you tell them that they have to have before they can really enjoy a good fishing trip?
honestly, I think they get annoyed with me because I ask so many questions because I'm so specific. But if they told me, I wanted to go to Lake Walcott and I wanted to catch bass, for under $100, I could get your rod, reel, line, lures, and everything that I feel would be proper for what you needed for this lake. And my friends were out here trolling, and they were trolling small spoons and small Rapala-type crankbaits on lead core line. They were letting 5 colors of line out, which basically each color of your lead core line represents 10 yards or 30 feet. So they were letting out quite a bit of line to get down, but they were catching some nice rainbows there, trolling around. And it really comes down to if he's going to come out here and he wants to troll for trout, I can recommend something. If he's fishing just bait for trout, I can recommend the same rod that he would be using for bass fishing also. It'd just be a different technique. But a good medium action, I have a combination ugly stick at the store that runs $49.95, and with that rod, it will cover a venue of different fishing, from bass fishing to cat fishing. It's a little short for trolling, but for 90% of what a lot of people do around this area, especially if they're just getting into fishing, it will be everything they'd ever need. The biggest thing, too, is, each time we're just trying to learn something new. If you don't know a knot, we're more than willing to show you how to rig it up, how to tie the knots, put the right proper gear on the end of your line, and send you to a place where you should expect to, be successful in what you're trying to accomplish.
Josh,
crappie bite at CJ Strike's been a little bit slow, but it's starting to turn on, and if they were going to go there, you might go with a little lighter rod, but it's one of those, some golfers only have 3 clubs in their bag, and some golfers have 20, and each time I go fishing, it's like I have different clubs in my bag, and once you get your first one, and if you enjoy it, it becomes an addiction, and you'll find the right tools periodically. You'll add more tools to your toolbox.
Let me ask you this final question here before I let you go back to fishing this morning. But if people will stop into Sportsman's Warehouse and ask for you, I think what Reese ought to do is have a great big bunch of sofa chairs, comfy chairs, so that people can sit down and listen to you, because you're a wealth of information there in the fishing department at Sportsman's Warehouse. What are the hours and the days that you are there so they can come in and meet you?
I'm off only on Wednesdays and Thursdays unless I'm on vacation, and I'm there in the mornings every weekend, and I close Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at night. So if they're there anytime after noon during the middle of the week until 9 o'clock, I should be there. And if they come in anytime before 3 or 4 p.m. on the weekends, I should be there. And I'd be more than willing to walk through anybody with my knowledge of, like, if they're heading to Henry's Lake or if they're heading to Brownlee Reservoir. I've been there. I've been successful at just about every single reservoir every time I go, and I'll be more than willing to show them what I use, how I use it. Next to go and stand on this rock and cast that direction, I'm more than willing to help them out.
I tell you what, he's helped me, folks. He got me back into the fishing bug. I bought a brand new outfit from him a couple of months ago, and I absolutely appreciate it. Josh at Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. And I'll tell you, folks, this is the man. You go in and ask for Josh. He can help you with all your fishing needs. He's at Lake Walcott right now fishing for bass. Next week, he's going to be at a different location. And can you give us a little teaser as to what we're going to talk about next week?
Well, next week I'm going to see where the fishing's at, but I have a feeling either me and my son are going to venture over to Salmon Falls Reservoir, or we'll be over at CJ Strike Reservoir for the next show. And we'll at least have a pretty good idea what's going on. I had some friends that were at CJ this weekend. I haven't talked to them yet to see if the crappie are in close enough to where we can fish from shore. If that happens and we can catch some fish from shore, we'll probably go crappie fishing because my son really enjoys doing that.
All right. Josh, God bless you, man. Excellent program. This is the fishing expert, the guru at Sportsman's Warehouse in Twin Falls. God bless you. We'll talk to you next week, Josh. Thanks much.
Yep. God bless you too, Zeb. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, well, I tell you what, this man is sharp. I really enjoyed it. I went in there and I just absolutely enjoyed visiting with him and learning more about fishing. I've fished all my life, but I'm not a good fisherman. And he helped me a lot. He can help you too at Sportsman's Warehouse in Twin Falls, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard. You go into the fishing department and ask for Josh. He is the man. Right now, it's time for our weather, and then we're going to have Jimmy Flowers on the air with us real quick. Weather brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657, or you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Delicious meats, all the bratwurst and the bacons and the prime ribs and the hams. Oh, my goodness, it's great. Scarrows Meats in Jerome. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's your weather forecast as we make our way through the day, and we are expecting some more storms in our forecast. Scattered rain showers and isolated thunderstorms off and on in the morning and this afternoon. Some thunderstorms may produce some damaging wind, large hail, and heavy rainfall. We are expecting a high right near 68, and the winds are going to be out of the east right around 10 miles an hour. Tonight, those rain showers and scattered thunderstorms could continue. Slight chance of rain showers after midnight as well. Plus, it's going to be colder. We are looking at a low, possibly of 41. Tomorrow, as we head into the weekend, mostly sunny skies, slight chance of rain showers in the morning, windy, and the high is going to be close to 68. Winds out of the southwest 10 to 20 miles an hour. Friday night, clear skies with a low expected of 40 for Saturday, sunny skies, high of 78, and possible 85 for Sunday. And that's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to everybody by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, Don and the crew, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Great big classics on the grass car show coming up this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, at the Cassia County Fairgrounds. And on the phone with me is my buddy, Jimmy Flowers. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Bell. How in the heck are you?
I'm busier than a three-legged cat in a sandbox, man. I'll tell you what. What's going on this weekend?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm sure glad I got a chance to talk to you again, because I think there may have been a couple of points you overlooked the first time.
Okay.
Plugs.
Well, you go right ahead and tell us what they are.
Okay, we always support the Meals on Wheels, and we have a jar at the gate that people coming through to see the car show, they can make a donation, and whatever the people donate into the jar, the club will match up to $500.
Whoa, okay.
And I told you we had a new sponsor this year. It's United Metals.
Yes.
Well, I guess they have, I haven't seen it, but I'm looking forward to it, a big pink semi that has been painted in support of breast cancer and breast problems and stuff like that.
Oh, my.
So, yeah, I've never seen a pink semi, so if somebody else hasn't either, they better come and look.
I'll tell you, the guy that drives that pink semi is a big, tough dude.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with him.
Well, now tell us a little bit about what time the gates open up at the Cassia County Fairgrounds and what else they're going to be doing.
Well, on Saturday, we're going to open the gate at 9, although the full complement of cars won't be in until later in the day. But there's always people like get off the graveyard and on their way home from work, and they like to stop and look. And if they do, they can get a stamp on their hand so they can come back later after they have a nap.
Okay.
And it's from 9 to 9 to 7 on Saturday.
Okay.
And 9 to 5 on Sunday.
Okay. And, Jimmy, we've got a caller with a quick question, so we'll get them on the air, and you can answer it. Go ahead, caller. Quickly, you're on the air.
Thank you. That is Joe Truck. Hey, Jimmy, how soon can I get my car in there tomorrow morning? Or Saturday morning, I'm sorry.
Well, I think there's probably people there, I don't know, 7 or 8, but anytime, whenever you're up and about, you can get it in there. Just as long as you get it in there before 11.
Yes, I just need to get over to the roll call thing, so I just want to get my car in there as early as possible, so I was asking.
That sounds good.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Zeb.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. Very welcome. And Jimmy, what kinds of cars? Give us kind of a definition as to what they're going to be seeing. What are the wide range of choices and vehicles that are going to be there?
Well, okay, I hate to say just vehicles because it is open for everybody and everything. We've had boats there before. We've had snowmobiles there before. We've had pedal cars. We've had lowrider bicycles. We've had antique scooters, antique motorcycles, and cars all the way usually run from the early 1900s somewhere. I don't think there's ever been anything older than a 1900, but there's been some 09s and 06s and 13s, and there's several in the 20s now that show up. And, it's just whatever somebody wants to bring. It's open for anybody that's got something they're proud of, and they'd like somebody to see it.
Okay, now, is there an award to perhaps the best of the show?
Oh, there's several best awards. I don't have a list of them here with me. I apologize for that. But, yeah, there's a Participants Award. There's a Best of Show. There's Best of Paint. There's Best Motor. There's Kids' Choice. And I think sometimes they have a Ladies' Choice. There's just too many to mention, and I'd hate to miss any.
Jimmy, let me ask you this question. When you and I were kids, and I know that's when they still circled the wagons at night, pedal cars for kids were a big thing. Are they still making those pedal cars today?
Oh, yes, they are. They're making a lot of them. As a matter of fact, a couple of years ago, me and my wife and my cousin, we kind of restored one, and we done it up in a Boise State theme. And the kids seem to really like it. It says Boise State on it. It's painted the colors. It's got the horse on it. It's nice to look at. I mean, Pat, myself, and these other people on the back, I think we did a super job.
Let me ask you this question about the Mini-Cassia Auto Collectors, 32nd Annual Classics on the Grass. From 32 years back to today, what are some of the big changes you've seen?
Well, the biggest change I've seen is we're getting more cooperation out of the locals and some sponsors that, man, we would beat the bush them first few years, and nobody wanted to help at all, but I guess they've figured out that it was finally catching a hold, and we've got a lot more sponsors now. There was a couple of bleak times we thought the club was going to fold, but we managed to hang on, and it's come back, and I think it's as strong now as it's ever been. We've come up with a better place to show the cars there at the fairgrounds. The security's better. The bathroom accommodations are better. The place to eat is better. This has all been improvements. It's guarded and locked, and it takes a lot of the riffraff out. There are people that like to destroy or mar. There's people there that watch everybody else's car, and it's really pretty safe. Well, and we've come up with some good food vendors.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you about the major sponsorships that have helped make Classics on the Grass a success again for this year. Who are they?
Well, the four biggest ones is Mr. Gas, Young Auto, the new one, United Metals, and J&L Electric. But we have all kinds of sponsors. There's real nice metal art done each year by Glenn Dilworth, and that's put up for a raffle, and anybody can buy a ticket on it. We've come up where we can finally afford to give away a $500 cash giveaway, and that brings a lot of people in that normally think it's not worth going to. And I don't know, I just think it's grown quite a bit over the years. It's pretty sparse at the beginning, but we've had some real good crowds, and Gina told us she was going to give us good weather, so that sure helps.
All right. Now, tell us about the admission fee and, again, about your donation, where that money goes.
The donation money that they put in goes to the Meals on Wheels. The money that comes in from the gate helps us to pay for the rent on the fairgrounds and the insurance. Boy, that's terrible. And the accommodations and the stuff we need so we can put on another show the next year. It's not a money-making operation. It's finally gotten to where it's a break-even operation.
Well, one last question. I'm almost out of time. Is Frida going to take her great big Ben clock to the car show?
I don't think she can pick it up.
All right. Jimmy Flowers, my dear friend, with the Mini-Cassia Auto Collectors 32nd Annual Classics on the Grass this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, at the Cassia County Fairgrounds. Jimmy, thank you so much.
Thank you, Zeb. The club really appreciates the support. We just like to tell everybody, either come to show or come to look. And I'll get a hold with you, I guess, on how many tickets we've given away.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And thank you for all you do, Zeb.
All right, buddy. Thank you much. Jimmy Flowers, our dear friend, and that great big, and it's going to be exciting to see all those cars. Jimmy, of course, with the purple people eater and everything else, man, it's going to be quite a show. Don't forget our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. If you're getting ready for a road trip, you're going to go to Colorado, Kansas, Florida, whatever, my goodness, get ready. Drive safely with all the different tires they have for you, all the different tread designs for your car, pickup, SUV, horse trailer, boat trailer, whatever. And don't forget, too, they'll give you a free pre-trip safety check on your vehicle, including the air pressure in your tires, checking the brake components, checking the wheel alignment for tire wear, front-end components, shocks and struts, battery, including a load test. You stop in. Then drive safely with your tires from your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. 7 locations, Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. That's going to wrap it up for this week. Thank you for all your kind thoughts and your prayers and everything from my lovely wife, Deanne. Thank you so much. We'll be back here Monday morning at 8:06 on Zebeth Ranch, where we always say the way things were are the way things ought to be. Have a great weekend.